Well, welcome everybody. Decided to do just a quick kind of spur of the moment stream. So today we're going to be doing some fishing for brown bullhead, little baby catfish. Now I might even catch some bass. We'll just have to see what we have for. Well, looks like we're all set for gear, I guess. And we're going to set. Pardon me. Nothing against anyone, but we're streaming right now, of course, so I don't want to unintentionally capture somebody whose permission I did not have to record them. So now I do apologize now and then if you folks can hear me chewing, but I just got home from work and desperately need dinner, so I'm also eating while we do this. Okay, and I have a marker right over there, as you guys can see. It's specifically for bullhead. I'm hoping. Do I have any bait? That would be one. Is it the warm one? Grand fish feeder. Sweet cake. Okay. Well, looks like we're actually going to be using some additional feeder because we're using rods that are feeder cages. It's too light, but I'm also using fairly heavy rods. The setup I'm using right now is usually my setup for walleye, because both catfish and walleye will go after leeches. That's and anything worm based is usually a big hit with those guys. Yeah, we're doing a little bit of bottom fishing. I'm also going to throw out a top rod with maybe a minnow or something on it. Also going to put one right out there, a little bit further out. Sometimes I'll get lucky and get a bowfin, because bowfin will go after leeches too. Alright, we got our feather light. Okay, it's not the feather light I wanted. My mistake. I think it's the Caesar that I wanted. Yeah, it's the Caesar. Yeah, I want to put this thing. Well, let's see what the overall length is. 36. No, about 36-inch lead. That way, it gets down there far enough that it'll attract a fair bit of stuff. But we are primarily doing this on purpose for bass. And it's running pretty good already, and we're plugged directly into the internet. So if we get hit, our response time will be immediate. Instead of using the Wi-Fi, we're LAN connected right now, which is so much faster. It makes such a difference if you can plug it into your internet instead of going off Wi-Fi. Yeah, if there's any attacks on the bottom rods, I've got them both set up with strike bells, so we'll definitely know. Set this down because nobody's really hit it yet. Whatever was chasing him must have changed its mind, because nothing doing right now. Let the line out that way. Little guy's got a bit of space to run around. And this river has a little bit of current. It's not much. We're also not on peak right now, which will take a little bit to get to. Another thing that works really good for catfish on this location is pet food, wet pet food. Mostly because that stuff smells to high heaven. And that's usually what catfish go off. They go off their sense of smell, because their vision is actually really, really poor. Well, they also pretty much live in the mud, so it doesn't tend to, whoop, here we go. Here we go. Which one's got it? The left one. We're not yeah, well, that fish is on there. It's not going anywhere. Here we go. And did we get the catfish? Yay, we got the catfish. Yep, young channel catfish. Yep, chunky little toad. Yeah, they're usually about that size. They're not massive, the way some other catfish are. Bullhead only go maybe top end 2-3 pounds if you get a large one. But that's also, I'm sure, based pretty much on geography, where you're catching the fish too. Because I know some of the bullheads, some people have caught some rather large bullheads down south off some of the bigger rivers like the Mississippi. The only catch with that is that the bullheads will have to compete with other species of catfish, like blue catfish. And blue catfish can get quite large. Flathead catfish. Yeah, they get, usually the fish get significantly larger the farther south in the U.S. you go, and into breaking the borders into South America. Some of the fish down there are just absolutely obscenely large. Let's see if we can get lucky and get ourselves a bass here. Yep. Not sure what that is. It might be a bass. It might not. But I do apologize for the squeaking you might hear in the background. My dog's in his crate. Probably because it's his bedtime and he doesn't like that. Small. Nope. I'll be damned. It's a little chain pickerel. It also didn't hit right for a bass either. Even if it's a small bass, they tend to really wallop the dickens out of the bait. I'm not saying chain pickerel don't hit good, but it's a different type of bite. Yeah, straight and slow is good. I've actually fallen in love with using the twitch method, because it keeps your bait attraction level pretty much on point all the time. And it can usually get you some pretty good strikes, some pretty dynamic strikes. The bait's also quite light, so we have to be kind of gentle with it. Yeah, playing this game, I can't count how many times I've been hit right in front of me and actually got a fish out of it. Those are out and nothing's really happening. So, yeah, what's the heaviest lure we can get? A 1/3 ounce? Jesus. That's a crying shame. Trying to think of what else I can throw. I mean, there's not a whole hell of a. You know what? Yeah, let's see if we can try to stack the odds in our favor and maybe even get like a young bass to bite. That would be cool. Yeah, we overshot our mark because this thing actually casts pretty good. And that should be in a good spot. Yeah, straight and slow works good because this bait's a little bit heavier. Twitching works good. The bass decides it wants it, we'll get a little surprise out of it. My favorite bait when we go down to the Everglades is bass jigs. Yeah, bass jigs are just absolute aces. I'm actually second guessing my decision to use bass jigs though. At the moment. What, max of a 1/3 ounce? Alright, we'll go 1/3 ounce. Yeah, and I can kind of understand why they did the whole damage system the way they did. It's kind of touchy. Yeah, I think honestly, if they wanted to combine the two, the weight of the lure should be more based off of the line you're using versus what rod you're using. For the most part, I'm not saying it's entirely wrong. It's just kind of, it can be kind of restrictive at times. Okay, half ounce is too heavy. Heck, I might even go with a different rod entirely. Oh, so we do have a let's see. Yeah, maybe our live bait's just too large. That could be a deciding factor on why they won't touch it. Now go with small minnow. That might actually garner us a better chance than when you're doing like saltwater at Blue Crab Island. The bigger the bait, the bigger the bang for your buck. When you do get something, shiners are great. Large minnows are just absolute dynamite. And that fishing venue. Let's see here. Come on, don't be mean. You're right there. I know you're chasing bait. Yep, there we go. There we go. Yep, sure enough, freshwater drum. A nice fish. Turn that stupid light off. It's, yeah, their scale patterning is actually really neat. Yeah, freshwater drum are pretty neat. There's a couple venues that have like buffalo. The buffalo are actually a really neat little fish to catch too. Considering their size, I actually put up quite a stout fight for the overall size that they have. Yeah, some people get caught up on which is better, live bait or plastic. I personally find that carrying a good combination of the two will actually get you the best results. Because you can use live bait all the time, and it'll work. It'll get you results. But some fish, I don't know why, they just seem to have a more energetic. I wouldn't say violent reaction, but predatory response to plastic and man-made baits versus natural baits. That's sometimes, that's not all the time, but it's, dependent on whether you're just going that way. You can say, oh yeah, I caught a pickerel, or you're intentionally targeting large pickerel. Because sometimes fish size plays a huge factor in your bait selection. Okay. Yeah, we got one fish, which is, it's nice, but it's not. Okay, because that's really light. That's not gonna go very far. I'm gonna devil with it. We're gonna chuck it out there anyway. Yeah, you can use small minnows. I've seen people catch catfish on them. You're gonna have to set your leader quite long. But if a catfish wants that minnow, you better buckle your seatbelt, because you're in for a ride. If it's even a remotely decent fish, you're gonna have a fight on your hands. It's a slower fishing style, but letting the river take your bait can sometimes hook you up with a decent fish. Now, it's not as energetic as, say, like myself and some of the other people that fish Emerald Lake will, or say if we're going after pike, we'll intentionally use things like glow-in-the-dark shads with a, say, a half or a 3/4 ounce jig head attached to it, and rip it, reel it fast and stop, reel it fast and stop. It's technically stop and go. I do apologize for that. Um, but something about that fast motion just absolutely sets the fish off. They just can't help themselves. They have to find whatever that fast moving thing is and kill it. And no, kill it and eat it. Yeah, the minnows are striking out right now, I guess. That's alright. Okay. That might be the... Okay, we're going to go with this one. And we're going to go with... Okay, nice. Sometimes these blue fleck crayfish baits, well, they call them 1.5 inch craw, but you know that's what it's designed on. The crayfish. Yeah, these work surprisingly well at Blue Crab Island, especially the glow in the dark ones. The gaff topsail catfish cannot get enough of them. Just constantly, the topsail catfish are a pain in the ass, but if you keep after them, you can get a bunch of uniques which are worth gold. I mean, it's not like farming different types of bass down in Florida. It's a little bit more difficult, but yeah, you guys decided to come here and cancel. I don't want to leave. I'm trying to get the dadgum thing to yeah, well, that shows the marker I put in the... Alright, let's see. Ah. Okay. Now we're gonna reel these in. And I've wasted enough of your time jawing and talking about fish and bait types and tactics and all that other hooey that I'm sure most of you folks don't give a fig for. So fast forward a bit and see if we can actually get some fish here, because yeah, we're going on nearly half an hour stream wise, and we've got a couple of fish, but it's not to a level I'd consider acceptable. So jump to 1 in the afternoon, because I know this place has fish. It's just, it's not like I'm particularly in any rush to catch fish, but you folks that are probably watching this video after the fact, or by this point you guys are probably bored to tears. So I'm trying to make this a little bit more entertaining. That's right, boys and girls. The bait is out. Don't be shy. Come and get it. Yeah, and that. Oh yeah, we're well into the we're going to the hot time now. So maybe the fish will get off their scaly little tails and actually put on a good show. You will notice, those of you that are watching this and paying attention, that I'm using the Fish Cabin M. You know, its max limit is, call it 66 pounds. I'm using that because many of my other larger fishing nets are damaged, and I do not have the gold or the funds at the moment to repair any of that right now. And that is entirely my fault for not being more careful with my in-game monies. Yeah, unless you really, really, really need a bait, and the game's asking for your gold to get it. Unless it's essential that you have that bait, or several of that bait, don't use your gold. Give it a little time to make sure you really want to expend your gold. If you're going to, then be prepared to spend a couple grand going down to Florida to replenish it. Oh, another freshwater drum. Nice. It looks like we're going to be drumming up business. I know. God awful joke. Please forgive me. But yeah, I've always kind of liked this venue. Texas is fun to mess around in, especially if you're not used to using a particular bait, or you've got a new rod and you're not really comfortable with the mechanics of the new rod. Pardon me. You can go there, the Lone Star Lake, for free and test your gear out and get acquainted and comfortable with your new gear before you go on a serious fishing trip. That way you know you're comfortable with it. You're you're able to cast accurately, and especially if it's one of like the super high end rods, which are either rewards or they're asking for gold to get them. If you've bought in and you've spent the money, first of all, good for you to get yourself some good stuff there. Some of those, especially depending on the weight of the bait you're throwing, can cast a significant distance, and sometimes it will take some getting used to settle in with that type of gear. I think the farthest that one of my top end rods can cast is something like 200 or 250 feet. It's a decent throw. It's not too bad. All right, I am really I am shocked that these bottom rods are not just ringing off the hook. So we're gonna switch our bait, because apparently this, I don't know, maybe the leeches are out to lunch or something. I don't know. But they're not doing their job. So we're gonna switch over to yeah, the leeches stink. If the leeches actually stunk, then the fish might go after them. Instead, Yeah, that's right. Cheese is another thing that they will go after. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like I have any pet food, so we're gonna go with cheese instead. And hopefully that will liven things up a bit, because this is getting kind of embarrassing. The catfish are making us look bad right now. Another thing you can do, and the word diversify does apply to the situation. Having one rod with leeches, one with pet food or cheese on it works. Corn works pretty good. Peas also. The leeches are not functioning as advertised. Shitty joke there. Sorry. So we're going to switch over to peas. Cheese and peas. Yeah, either with the last update they completely destroyed this fishing spot, or we're simply just not having good luck. I'm hoping that it's the latter. In their updating of this game, they haven't destroyed some really good fishing spots. Okay, so cheese and peas are out. Let's see. What else do we... No, 3rd ounce is heavy, so let us go. And we'll do a 3-inch shad. Because even though it's daytime, the glow shads still tend to have a pretty good effect on the fish. Pardon me. Feather lights are fantastic for having a good bit of fighting fun with smaller bass, walleye, pretty much any of the panfish size. Whoop, here we go. Panfish sized fish. And it looks like we went from catfishing to catching a whole bunch of other stuff. Another pickerel, I think. Yep, decent sized little chain pickerel. Call it 1.5 pounds. Fish tails. Yeah, if you can put it right next to that grass, you've got a really good chance of drawing a pickerel out of that, or a bass, because that area over there is loaded with them. More so to the right side than the left, but now this little river ecosystem's got quite a bit of fish activity. Anyway, I might throw way over there by that willow to the far left and do a straight and slow. Yeah, I know it's a boring grandpa style retrieve, but laugh if you want. But that retrieve has gotten me more fish in this game than any other retrieve. Yeah, even with us being like pretty much right in the middle of the good fishing times, I'm very, very, very surprised that we aren't getting hit left and right. We're getting a fish here and there, but it's not. Um, I don't know. It's not as good as I was expecting. Um, trying to think of another place that's got catfish that you could readily get. Let me see what we made, because yeah, 630 pretty much covers the trip. I think we're gonna pull up stakes and move on. Because this particular area is just not it right now. With that, yeah, like a lot of our big stuff, we simply just can't afford it right now. What do we have money to go to? Yeah, and the Heron River is a favorite for if you're bass fishing, but we're going to be doing that. We want which other ship? What weight line do we have here? A 13-pound test. Yeah, that's more than enough for common household bass. All right, so looks like we're taking a trip to the Heron River then. That's probably the first time that Mudwater River has ever failed me when it comes to catching copious amounts of catfish in a very short amount of time. I'm not upset by it. I'm kind of saddened that we just didn't have the success that we were expecting. Because usually that place is day in, day out catfish dynamite. Alright, we need to private room. Okay, we need to make sure that that's marked. And we want to go to great parking job is a really good place because you get a nice view of the area. And that, like you can see, I've got spots marked for a couple different fish types. I'm gonna put this down and we'll see what fish types I have it marked for. Yeah, what are the yeah, I'd like to know what yeah, I can't recall what the markers are, but I'm pretty sure one of them's a flat catfish spot. It's been so long since we've been here. This particular place fishing. I'm kind of talking disjointed now. Not yet. I know the tackle's too light. I'm doing it on purpose. Yeah, and bottom fishing in this place. I know I said bottom fishing in the last place was great, but yeah, if we don't catch anything here, folks, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, because there's bass, absolutely wall-to-wall bass in this place, and the flathead catfish could be fairly sizable too. All right, so oops. I don't know how the hell that happened, but okay. That was some kind of a weird miscast. All right, and that's two rods out. They each got 13-pound test on them, so I should be able to handle a decent sized fish. All right, yeah, and we're just about to come up on a good time for fish. Let me put this over to a shiner. All right, and we need to set the well, here we go. Here we go. Yeah, where it's moving around, that's definitely some kind of bass. Yep, there we go. Yeah, decent largemouth bass. Yeah, I spent one real world night here, mostly just hanging out at home, sipping some herbal tea, and I kid you not, I filled one of the largest nets that I own in this game twice over with nothing but bass. Almost I could nearly time it. Every 20 or so seconds there was a fish on. It was amazing. It was probably one of the wildest things I've ever seen in my entire life. And we looks like we might have. Yep, here we go. Yeah, I knew there was some activity going on. Really, activity on both of them? Gee. This one's fighting a little bit better, so it could be a bit of a better bass, or it could be a flathead, which would be a nice surprise. Yes. See, so this place is not making me a liar. There's your catfish. Yep, and that one's going just absolutely bonkers, so we better get that before it goes away. Yeah, this place is flathead heaven. Yeah, they're all over the place in here. Yeah, this is a really good place to come if you're getting used to using bass jigs. It's a really good place to try them out and get your technique down. Because there's a bunch of different bottom in here. You've got some logs and stuff you can get snagged on, but with those logs also comes some fairly large and quite hungry bass that like to hide around them. Especially the stick-ups over in the next area over. I can't remember the name of the bloody place. Yeah, it's Woody Enchantment. It tends to, yeah, we've already got a hit going on the left one. Just waiting for them to sink their teeth into it. You can tell because the rod tip keeps moving, but not quite enough to set the bell off. Yep, and there we go. Sure enough. I'm glad I came here because Mudwater River was making me a liar. And that flathead more than made up for the lack of catfish that we got there. So 10 pounds worth of catfish and one fish. It's like, yeah, nope. Don't know why I did that. I kicked myself in the ass for doing that. The friggin' bell on this one's not even going off. Yeah, and that's something you can easily do if you're not careful, is to put too much pressure on your line and break it in this game. Yeah, I pushed my luck and I paid for it. I lost some, probably a decent sized fish too. That had to have been another catfish. But let's restring this because that's easy enough to do. I'm going to go with size 4 hook. Okay. Okay. Yeah, well, I keep forgetting this is a heavier line and stuff we're using, so it can handle quite a bit. Yep, it's too light, but that's actually fine. Titanium leaders. I'll go with the 22-pound one just to be sure, because yeah, some of the catfish can get kind of sizable here. That 10-pounder, I mean, there's catfish in here that would eat that 10-pounder just because they could. Well, jeez. Yeah. Now it only took 3/4 of an hour to get some fishing action going. Jeez. But now we most certainly do. It's went from fishing for and yeah, another catfish. Nice. Oh, very nice. Very nice indeed. Look at that chunky catfish belly. Chunky catfish belly. The one on the left's moving already. I can tell. Shit. Yeah, I overdid that one. Ugh. All right. I'm coming. Yeah, where it's moving, that's gotta be a bass. Yeah, the smallmouth in here are just the largemouth have gotten a little more energetic since some past updates. The smallmouth here are just madcap madness. They're bonkers. They jump out of the water. They go all over the damn place. Oh, pardon me. I do apologize for sneezing in everyone's ear. They're each getting a little bit of action. I'm not sure, but I think the one on the right's going to go first. Yep, sure enough. Yeah, there's some pretty deep holes in this place, so you can. Yep, there you go. There's a smallie. You can also just as a bit of variance, you can also pitch it right out here in the middle. And there's definitely some bass out there. There's most certainly some giant catfish in that area too, because they seem to come from Woody Enchantment over to here back and forth. Because the whole bottom of this place has a bunch of bunch of deep holes in it, and the bottom of this place, it's not, you know, if it wasn't filled with water, it'd be pretty much V-shaped, kind of like a trench along the bottom. And there's some holes in the trenches that the catfish like to go down in and sit. You know, some rocky shelves like right here, to the right of the sunken truck. I know, because I would used to actively target those, just to get the smallmouth out of them. Yeah, there's also a long-nosed gar here. A bunch of different panfishes and stuff, but yeah, it's a pretty decent place. Let's look at our keep net so far. Not bad. What is our... Okay, so the very first catfish we caught was our largest of the two. Seems to have quieted down a little bit. That's okay. Okay, that was an awful cast. That's usually why I don't use that particular casting mechanic, because I'm horrible at it. I like the hold and release one a little bit better. Yeah, coming to these the pile of rocks right here to the right, coming all the way out to the end of it, you can get pretty good cast, and many times that will usually get you a fish out of this area. And it's just kind of gone quiet all of a sudden. No, that's not what I was hoping for. No, we still haven't even hit the peak yet, so yeah, maybe me casting that out in the middle was a mistake. I'll bring that bait right back in. It's not that big of a deal. Not great. Actually trying to get it loose, but there was some kind of a glitch with it. Oh yeah, that's not an awful spot to put it. It's just been a bit, I'll give it another 5 minutes or then I'm gonna cut you folks loose. Yeah, I'm more than patient watching us play this game. It's not nearly as dramatic and busy as like Fallout or any of the Resident Evils, which there's always something going on in those games. This one's a little bit slower pace. I think perhaps maybe too slow a pace for folks these days. Okay. We have no idea what the hell that was. Okay. Well, let's see. I'm not sure if I'm hung up or I actually got a fish here, but sure enough, that. There you go. Smallmouth bass on our feather light. Out you go. Yeah, they seem like to hang around that weed pile right out the middle too. It's kind of why I've got those two locations marked off, because they're pretty much guaranteed to pull a fish out of one of those two spots. Doesn't mean you're 100% guaranteed, but you got a good shot of getting something. Yeah, like right over here by this rock pile. If you chuck it way out there, there's another hole over by those rocks also. Now, if I hook in anything big with this rod, it's either going to be a hell of a fight or it's going to be over real quick. It's going to snap me off. Because this is the Featherlight, one of the Featherlight series rods. Really responsive and all, but not much in the way of staying power when it comes to fighting fish of any relative size. Well, it looks like we're gonna take her on the bottom rod here, so well, let's see what we got. Now I'm fairly sure that 13-pound test is high as you can go with this rod, unless I'm mistaken. Very possibly could be. Yeah, carrying around, yeah, it's a catfish. He's doing donuts out there. Oh, and that's a good cat too. Yeah, and that's out. Yeah, the fish is too large to keep in our keep net, but I'm still gonna do that for the experience. And I was a 17-pounder, the biggest one I ever took out of here, to my recollection, which may be mistaken. My memory's really awful. Was 30. Something like 38 pounds on a crankbait. But folks, we're coming up on the hour mark, and I am going to end this video / stream. I thank you all very, very much for watching. I will be streaming this Sunday. Yeah, I think it's like, I don't know, March 5th or 6th. I don't know what the date is, but yeah, the first Sunday of March. Yeah. And oh, before I let you go, it looks like we're gonna reel in one more fish just to say goodbye, I guess. Hopefully this one we can actually put in our GD keep net. That big catfish was beautiful. Couldn't fit the damn thing in there though. Alright, and that's a smallie to finish everything off. That's pretty damn cool. Anyway, folks, thanks for stopping by. I'm gonna give you a really good look at that smallmouth, and you guys take it easy. We'll see you later.